Well, we have returned to the border of Iran and Iraq, and this time we are fighting a massive battle, but we're actually going to be using the Iranians this time. Now, of course, we don't have nearly as much military equipment as the Iraqi side does have, so we're going to have to try and just make use of the equipment we've got on us right now. And what I'm thinking is just putting some of these anti-tank guided missiles on this side of the river. As you can see, we've got a hell of an attack going forward here towards the ford. So actually, I'm going to put some of these anti-tank units over here by the ford area. We might want to go ahead and select a somewhat safer spot, but I'll be honest, there's really not a lot of cover out here, so we're going to have to hopefully set up in the best place possible, again, without cover, and take on the enemy assault. In fact, I'm going to take this entire group back here. We're going to have two separate combat groups, one by the ford up here, and one by our ford area right over in this region. Now, as you can see, as the Iranians, we do have a lot of infantry units to carry out an infantry assault. That might not seem like much against tanks, but I'm hoping that these guys have RPGs with them. So yeah, we're just going to try and set up the best defense possible. A lot of these supply trucks, you may be wondering kind of why they're here, and I believe that the mod creators, the DLC creators, considered the fact that a lot of Iranians, when they were getting to battle, would come via trucks from neighboring cities, villages, etc., and get right into the fighting. Well, that's what we're about to do now, and as always, guys, here in Gravitine Tactics Maya's Front, we will return when the combat begins. Except for one little change, and that is that I have pre-combat operations that I want to carry out. I'm going to take Ansari, Reza, all these infantry troops, and I'm actually going to try and move them over to this wooded area. It's going to be a hell of a dangerous move, but we've got to do it now. So here we go, and of course, a bunch of other vehicles back here just to take the brunt. Those supply trucks aren't going to help, but again, these guys, the guided missiles, yeah, they're going to help quite a bit here. The M40s. We're already starting to see enemy vehicles off in the distance, and it looks like some of our guys have already popped some RPG rounds here. I think that's quite dangerous at this distance, but as you can see, we do have the infantry moving up, and yes, Iran would use a lot of human wave attacks. It's just the reality of this particular war. We've also got our BMPs right here, and in fact, with some of these guys, I'm going to go ahead and dismount, unhook guns, and pretty much just set up the best defensive position we can in a situation like this. Dismount, and again, these guys are all going to get out of those vehicles and start using their anti-tank weapons if those are applicable. A huge Iraqi tank line over here. I'm doing what I can with it. I think another thing we can do here is fire some mortars in that direction, but there are just a lot of enemies over there. We've already taken some shots, some lethal rounds. Doing what we can here. Do the same with this guy. Go ahead, dismount. That's it, boys. There we go. Anti-tank guided missile. That's what we're looking for. Oh, seems to have missed it, but that did not miss. That may have been an airstrike, as far as I'm concerned. And look at that. Some burning Iraqi tanks. That's the kind of sight we like to see. A pretty good start. And damn, we just laid down the law on these guys. Maybe quite literally lay down the law, or the M-law here. Keep on firing, boys. Keep on firing. Just excellent shot so far. We've got an entirely other front to deal with, of course, but look at those anti-tank rounds. Boom! Devastating. So that's all the AT rounds, completely crushing the Iraqi defenders. Let's keep it up. Let's keep it up. Even some vehicles that back there that seem to have taken some rounds. Now, it does look like a lot of our vehicles over here have already taken lethal shots, at least the ones in the front. But what I'm going to do is just kind of move up a little bit to this rim thing right here, sort of a barrier, a natural barrier, and start building up. I think we completely eviscerated that Iraqi tank column. Don't think we're going to have to worry about it again. Now, how are the rest of our men doing over here? Our men on the ground. Remember, we sent these soldiers up to fight right on the front lines. The Revolutionary Guard. Hopefully, they can stop the additional armored push here by the Iraqis. I'm even tempted to bring in some assistance from over here by the Grove. We seem to be in full control of the area, but I want to be pretty careful. So I am going to start moving forward with some of our guys right here in the center. But as for the guys on the right, I will keep them here for now at least. think that area is mostly under our control, so I'm kind of tempted to switch fire over here. But let's just take a look at the Iraqi lines right now. A lot of BTRs moving up. Doesn't seem like they have that many tanks over here. I think we wiped out most of them. They do have 2 back here that can still be pretty devastating, but I feel like we definitely wiped out most of that armor. And I'm glad we actually sent up, I hate to use this term, but we sent up our men to use as human shields, and it's working pretty well. They're focusing fire on our infantry here, instead of focusing fire on all of our anti-tank weapons back here. Now, that's not to say they're not hitting them. They are doing a damn good job hitting them, but it's giving us a few more seconds to launch some rounds before being shut down. Come on, boys. Someone get on that gun. Morale is not what it was in the beginning of this battle. Yeah, it looks like they overshot already. They even took out the supply trucks back here, so I take that back. They're doing a pretty good job at holding on. We've even got some trying to cross the river here. The river, that natural barrier, is actually keeping us really safe. Nice hits! Direct hit on the side. Glad you guys caught that one, and it was an Iraqi tank. So again, even if they end up winning this fight, we have cost them dearly. And that is the goal here, to make it so that the Iraqis do not want to continue this fight, even if they do get victories along the river here. Just make sure to hit the guys right ahead of us. Brave fighters. Brave fighters. They really started the battle. Devastating to the enemy. And what I am going to do, I'm going to take a portion of this group, Shirazi's group, and we are going to try and cross the ford and do additional attacks over here. So I'm actually sending them across, again, just to add to the resistance the enemy's facing. This is one of those battles where I would gladly accept a ceasefire just to buy our guys more time and get some more men on the line. There we go. Another hit for sure. And just with an RPG, well-placed RPG shot, our guys are getting really good shots here. Rocket-propelled grenade right there. Let's see how our attack is going. Of course, they are launching all sorts of devastating artillery strikes on this area, but the men that are able to move are pushing out. Of course, we are still suffering from a lack of morale here. How could we not, with the devastating bombardments that the Iraqis are sending this way? Amazed still a few vehicles alive over here. That's pretty incredible. And now, of course, it comes down to infantry combat. We can see for sure some of their infantry has made it across the river here. We want to stop that. One of them is already bleeding, so they are already taking casualties. In fact, I don't even think this BMP was necessarily destroyed by our weapons. I think he may have just been swamped in the river there. Although I do see some rounds in him, so might be small arms weapons that actually knocked him out. And here we go. The attack continues. We still have some boys alive out here. Look at that. If you look across from the river from the Iraqi side, it doesn't seem like we have much left, but they would be quite mistaken. And we are going to just keep on trying to stack up those kills, really just make the Iraqis pay for every single inch of land they take. That's an officer for sure. Black Beret makes it pretty clear, and it looks like another vehicle that is just being abandoned here. The engine's fine, but the crew is not. There we go. Keep up that artillery fire, and that's the mortar fire. Interesting. So that's all those massive explosions we're seeing back there without a trail are the mortar rounds. We must have some pretty strong mortars. Although, as you can see, they're an entirely new group coming from the Iraqi side. Yeah, those mortars are definitely firing out there, but look at how much land they have to cover. I'm just going to have them focus exclusively on men on the front line here. But like I said, the Iraqis have plenty approaching over here. Yeah, that attack went nowhere. With so much devastation on this side, it's unlikely that our men are going to be able to fire much. That's it, boys. Keep it up, keep it up. Oh boy, Zahedi just took a nasty shot. Just in an effort to maximize kills on that side. Look at that. Is that an automatic grenade launcher? For goodness sakes, let's start firing the damn thing. And again, after vehicles, officers are definitely going to be something we want to take out. So knocking down these little flags also helps us tremendously. We can see they're pushing across with their tanks now, trying to get those tanks across the river. I fear we may have used up most of our anti-tank guided missiles already early on in the fight here. Can we still get a kill shot on those guys crossing the river? I'm actually going to make sure that everyone in this area is focused on them. Hoping this will change their focus from over here on the left side over to the center a little bit more. But again, a lot of the guys keeping their heads down, trying to remain alive as much as possible. Some guys coming back from the front wounded, like this one. What a boss, though. What a boss. Oh, there we go. Almost immediately direct fire on that area, and it looks like the mortars are pinging that area directly, trying to knock down as many Iraqis as possible. Still selecting those tanks exclusively. And the reason being, it might just be a single tank, but really anybody on our side of the river is going to be quite a problem for us. Look at this. Our guys getting right up there to the field just to take the fight to the enemy. I love it. That fire going. A lot of commanders of these specific brigades are ordering the men to retreat, which is not what I want. But of course, they are under a lot of stress. And look at that Iraqi push. Wait a minute. This tank might be abandoned. Hell yeah, guys. We got that kill. I didn't realize it may just be artillery that forced him out. The tank itself is looking fine. Of course, we don't see the internals of the thing, but it looks like our boys managed to stop the first one. Can they stop the second? Oh no, he's back. Never mind. Crew reacquired the vehicle. Yeah, I got a feeling that that was just too good to be true. There we go. Our machine gunners are working overtime here. Yeah, definitely reacquired the vehicle. They abandoned it for a second there, but I guess they figured we're safer in this vehicle than we are trying to run back across the river. And that could even end in deaths for the Iraqi side, or friendly fire from the Iraqi side as well. They're going to shoot at anything crossing that river right now if it looks like a potential Iranian counterattack. And there we go. It looks like some of our men did try and make it across. Look at that. So we are trying to get across. This push is continuing. Put our focus just here. There we go, boys. Looks like a hit. I see burning. Oh, got my hopes up. That's just behind the enemy tank. And again, my concern is, like I said before, that we have used all AT weapons. We are hitting them with pretty heavy machine gun fire. Oh, enemy tow. Oh, boy. Oh, ho, ho, devastating. Directly in the front of that APC. Of course they're going to abandon. The Iraqis are not playing around now that they've made it across. But as you can see, our infantry is engaged directly with any infantry trying to cross the river here. And this is our chance to stack up kills at a minimum. Maybe knock out a couple tanks as well. Still getting some great shots. Good shooting, boys. Good shooting. Oh, we did have a final shot there. Unbelievable. He had an RPG. I don't know if it was a kill, though. It was a direct hit on the front of the tank. And yeah, I think they're going to be just fine. If we could get a shot in the side of the tank with that RPG, there is definitely a chance for a kill. Oh, missed the second shot. We can't have that. We cannot have that. We need direct shots through and through. Make sure that those mortars are still firing. Hold on a second. They've been hit pretty bad. Just want to select that group. Just a massive group pushing over here. In fact, let's get a visual here on these guys. Yeah, quite a lot of armored vehicles coming in from the Iraqi side. Sometimes you got to know when to retreat, and I'm not quite there yet with this group just because we've got a lot of MGs left and we can still cause havoc to the enemy infantry, but that approaching armored line is definitely a suggestion that perhaps pulling back would be the correct choice here. Pretty soon anyway. And again, we've done a great job initially on the enemy tank column. It's going to make it a lot easier for our boys deeper within the country to take on the enemy. But nonetheless, I mean, you got to know when to pull out, and this might be that time. Of course, we do still hold a position here, so maybe we just remain here, just keep trying to tag the enemy as much as possible, and let them pretty much overwhelm us if it comes to that. I'm even tempted to move Shirazi's squad, hell, all these squads right here on the edge of the river to fire at the enemy, but it makes us really obvious targets for enemy AT weapons. So I'm going to stay away, not really as concerned about their tanks attacking this group as I am their AT weapons hitting our vehicles, because all it takes is one good hit, and that's it. The thing is destroyed. With a lot of their tanks, they seem to be able to take quite a few hits, frontal hits, before going down. Got that APC under fire. Can we stop it is the question. RPG against this thing, it would be all over, of course. Once we start missing shots against vehicles like that, or not destroying vehicles like that, was what I'm talking about and what I was waiting for, then the fight will be over. But see, we got a kill on that one. Might as well continue, and they're going to actually abandon in a river. I don't think things are going to go too well for the guys in that vehicle. Of course, that armored column is approaching. Might try to hold out and see if we can't get a ceasefire. It's unlikely, but not impossible. Even this guy, the way he's turned, if we could just get one good RPG shot from a flank, I think he'd be toast. Take a look here at this side of the river for the enemy. It's going to take them a while to get across. Unless they go to those land bridges, getting these tanks across will be quite a challenge. But all they have to do is head over here, which is another reason I so badly wanted to destroy this guy. Because, as you know, the more wrecks we can have on this side of the river, the tougher it's going to be for them to maneuver on this side of the river. But you need to know when you're beat, and again, we can at least have some of these guys live to fight another day. So I am going to call the retreat. That's something I don't typically do on videos like this. I like to show you guys victories, especially for Graviteam. Other games, I show you guys my defeats, etc. But this is just the right thing to do in this combat situation. You know, we've stopped them as much as we can. I think we've done a damn good job, all things considered. The post-battle statistics will let us know if that's the case. But the best thing we could do now is just get the hell out of here. Set up on another front, of course, and keep fighting. Look here at the Iraqi side of the battle. Plenty of vehicle crews out here, which I like to see. If you guys have gotten this far in the video, then I want you to type in anti-tank in the comments below. Just to see how many of you actually get this far in these massive battle videos. I know a lot of people leave when the action essentially kind of ends or is mostly over. This seems like with this battle, the action has never ended. It's just all-encompassing, non-stop. But maybe we could get a few more shots before ending the fight here, although that distance is pretty dramatic. So many spent shells. We are hitting them quite a lot with machine guns, and it looks like they keep opening that hatch, but I'm guessing they're opening it so that the commander can maneuver. They're not abandoning the vehicle because they keep reacquiring it. So again, I think they're doing that, and look at that. Tanks across, yeah, perfect time to leave this battlefield. They will trample over our men, and we'll have no recourse. So I'm trying to save as many Iranians as I can here, and just get the hell off the battlefield. We'll live to fight another day. If you enjoy these kind of fights, particularly in the Iran-Iraq War, and you want to see more, then let me know in the comments by just typing Iran-Iraq War. I'd love to do some more of these, really just the crux of modern battle. Yeah, it's absolutely exciting to fight these battles particularly. Well, there we go, guys. Let's take a look at the battle results here. So 137 lost on our side, 103 killed, 19 heavily wounded. We would expect as the Iranians to be somewhat more damaged than the enemy. On the enemy side, 52 killed, 20 heavily wounded, 9 just regularly wounded. 39 lost vehicles on our side, although not many tanks, mostly just supply trucks and a couple APCs. 19 lost vehicles on the enemy side. In fact, we can see here we lost all our tanks. They lost 4, the 4 reacquired over here, and 36 trucks and APCs, 34 reacquired. Sorry, flip that. That's correct. We took out 9 trucks and APCs, and we took out 9 tanks. They took out 4 of our tanks, and they took out 36 of our trucks and APCs, 34 reacquired. Again, things could have gone better, but considering we were going to have pretty tremendous losses no matter what, I think we held them back pretty damn well. But what do you think? Let me know in the comments down below, and thank you so much for watching.